Dear student, welcome to EPG Pathshala, a e-content development project by National Mission on Education through Information and Communication Technology. I am Kannan, working at Information and Library Network Center, Gandhinagar. Today, I am going to talk about the module called Digital Library Projects in USA, comes under the paper Digital Library. The major objectives of any library is to collect, process, preserve and disseminate information based on the user need. In the 1990s, WWW became a favorite media for information delivery due to its simplicity and usage in all the field, particularly sharing of information in the scholarly community. When we look at digital library history, the United States of America is the pioneer. The project Gutenberg is the first digital library project initiated by Dr. Michael Hart at University of Illinois in the year 1971. In the late 1980s, different working groups conducted workshops towards the impact of information technology and role of electronic resources in academic community. In 1993, the Digital Library Initiative Phase 1 formally started with the funding support from National Science Foundation, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, also called DARPA, National Aeronautic and Space Administration, also called NASA, given a real push to web-based digital library initiatives to the world. In this module, I am going to talk about digital library development in USA and their impact on digital library project in the global movement. Also, elaborate about various funding agencies and their role to develop digital libraries in USA, major digital library projects and their achievement, etc. Let us see some of the pioneers in the digital library movement. Vannevar Bush. Vannevar Bush conceptualized the memory extender called MEMX, a thinking machine in which an individual could store information and link with one another. MEMX was the crude version of today's digital library. Douglas Engelbart. Douglas Engelbart developed online system, also called NLS, that allowed researchers to access all the stored working papers in a shared journal which contained more than 1 lakh items in it and was one of the largest early digital library. Det Nelson. Det Nelson designed Xanadu system in the year 1965 and coined the word called hypertext and proposed a system wherein all the publication in the world would be deeply interlinked. Tim Berners-Lee, all you aware about him, he invented the World Wide Web at CERM laboratory in 1991. That was the most significant development in the history of internet as well as digital library.
Project Gutenberg was the first information provider and is the oldest digital library. Project Gutenberg was launched in the year 1971 at the Materials Research Lab at University of Illinois by Dr. Michael Hart. The main objective of the project is to create electronic access of humanities literature available at the University of Illinois. The number of electronic books in Project Gutenberg rose from 1,000 in August 1997 to 44,844 in February 2014, with a current production rate of around 340 new books each month from all over the world. In 2000, it became a non-profit corporation, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Now, books are available in more than 60 languages with 11 main languages. In the late 1980s, some of the reputed organizations and publishers started experimenting with digitization of journal articles. The main projects were Mercury, Chemistry Online Retrieval Experiment, and Association for Computing Machinery. The Mercury Project was launched in 1988 at the Carnegie Mellon University to create a campus-based electronic library. One of the objectives was to host scanned images of journal articles using materials licensed from publishers. 4 publishers, namely ACM, IEEE, Elsevier, and Pergamon, were identified for publishing 16 of the 20 computer science journals that were most heavily used on campus. An early version of Z39.50 was chosen as the protocol to send queries between the clients and the server computers on which the indexes were stored. American Memory was a pilot program launched in 1989 at the Library of Congress. In this project, selected collection of the library was digitized and disseminated. Collections were selected for their value for the study of American history and culture and to explore the problems of working with materials of various types such as prints, negatives, early motion pictures, recorded sounds, and textual documents, among others. The core project, or the Chemistry Online Retrieval Experiment project, was a joint project by the Cornell University, the OCLC, and the American Chemical Society that ran from 1991 to 1995. The project converted about 4 lakh pages, representing 4 years of articles from 20 journals published by the American Chemical Society. The SGML text was used to build a full text index for information retrieval and for rapid display on computer screens. In 1993, Association for Computing Machinery decided that its future production process would use a computer system that creates a database of journal articles, conference proceedings, magazines and newsletters, all marked up in SGML. Subsequently, ACM also decided to convert large numbers of its existing journals to build a digital library covering its publications from the year 1985. It uses a web interface that offers readers the opportunity to browse through the contents of the journals and to search by author and keyword. The Digital Libraries Initiative, or the DLI, was the result of a community-based process which began in the late 1980s with informal discussions between researchers and funding agencies in the USA. The Digital Library Initiative Phase 1, also called DLI-1, started in the year 1994 with funding support from the National Science Foundation, the Department of Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The US government spent around $24 million during 4 years from 1994 to 1998 for projects assigned to 6 major universities. These universities concentrate on developing digital library architecture, technologies and standard procedure for capturing, processing and organizing the information, to develop search, browse and visualization interfaces, among others. The UC Berkeley Digital Library Project was part of the NSF ARPA NASA Digital Library Initiative and part of the California Environmental Resource Evaluation System. The Alexandria Digital Library Project was part of the University of California, Santa Barbara. The goal of the project was to distribute digital library for geographically referenced information. The Infomedia Digital Video Library was part of Carnegie Mellon University. The project was supported by industrial partners such as Bell Atlantic, the Intel Corporation, the Microsoft Corporation, etc. Federated Repositories of Scientific Literature was a part of the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and aimed at developing the information infrastructure to effectively search technical documents on the Internet. The test bed of engineering and physics journals was based in the Granger Engineering Library. The University of Michigan Digital Library Project was based at the University of Michigan. The project focused on the collection of Earth and space sciences and intended to serve a variety of users. The external collaborators were IBM, Elsevier Science, UMI International, and Kodak. The Standard University Digital Library was set up at Stanford University. The project was a test bed running the Infobus protocol, which provided a uniform way to access a variety of services and information sources through proxies acting as interpreters between the Infobus protocol and the native protocol.
Till now, we have seen Digital Library Initiatives Phase 1 and its various projects. Let us see Digital Library Initiatives Phase 2. Based on the recognized achievements of Digital Library Initiative Phase 1 and the promises of additional federal investment in digital libraries, Digital Library Initiative Phase 2 was announced in the year 1998. More sponsoring agencies joined with DARPA, NASA and NSF in the Digital Library Initiative Phase 2, including National Library of Medicine, the Library of Congress, that is the National Library of US, the National Endowment for Humanities and the National Archives and Record Administration and etc. Second phase aimed at intensive study of architecture and usability issues of digital libraries, including the vigorous research on human-centered, content and collection-based, system-centered digital library architecture. Under the Digital Library Initiative Phase 2, more than 77 large and small projects in various categories was developed with the support of academic institutions at USA. Let us see some of the major projects developed under Digital Library Initiatives Phase 2. The National Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertation is an international non-for-profit charitable organization established in the year 1996 at Virginia Tech University, dedicated to promoting the adoption, creation, usage, dissemination and preservation of electronic theses and dissertations. The main objective of NDLTD is to promote electronic thesis and dissertation worldwide, provide useful resources, develop standard and technology to develop ATD program and encourage higher education institutions to use NDLTD resources and participate in NDLTD activities. The National Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertation, also called NDLTD actually established in the year 1996, directed by the Information Steering Committee at Virginia Tech University. As its scope became international, the organization kept the acronym as it is, that is called NDLTD, but changed its name to the Networked Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertation. Today, the NDLTD's members include more than 200 universities around the world, as well as partner organizations including Adobe, the American Library Association, the Association of Research Library, the Coalition of Networked Information, the Joint Information Services Committee, OCLC, Online Computer Library Center, Procast, UMI, and Thesis Canada. Major funding partner are National Science Foundation as well as German Research Foundation. It is from Germany, the National Council of Science and Technology in Mexico.
The National Science Digital Library, or the NSDL, was established in 2000 by the National Science Foundation to provide an organized point of access to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics content, aggregated from a variety of other digital libraries, NSF-funded projects, and other national STEM stakeholder providers. This is the collaborative project between Cornell University, Columbia University, and the University Corporation for Atomic Research. The NSDL is now entirely hosted at UCAR in Boulder, Colorado, and continues its mission as an entity dedicated to the advancement of STEM education. The mission of the Digital Library for Earth System Education is to improve the quality, quantity, and efficiency of teaching and learning about the Earth system by developing, managing, and providing access to high-quality educational resources and supporting services through a community-based distributed digital library. Launched in 2000 and funded by National Science Foundation and managed by the National Center for Atmospheric Research Library. Archive started in August 1991, also known as the Los Alamos National Laboratory e-print service, is a fully automated electronic archive and distribution server for research papers. Archive is owned, operated, and funded by Cornell University and is partially funded by the National Science Foundation. It covers unreferred articles self-archived by the authors. The areas covered include physics and related disciplines like mathematics, nonlinear sciences, computer science, and quantitative biology. NASA's technical information is available via the NASA Technical Report Server (NTRS) to provide students, educators, and the public with access to over 5 lakh aerospace-related citations, over 3 lakh full-text online documents, and over 5 lakh images and videos. The types of information include conference papers, journal articles, meeting papers, patents, research reports, images, movies, and technical videos, scientific and technical information funded by NASA. Sighteer was created by Lee Giles, Kurt Bolacker, and Steve Lawrence in 1997 at NEC Research Institute, New Jersey, USA. Sighteer is a scientific literature digital library and search engine that focuses primarily on the literature in computer and information science. It contains freely available full-text research articles such as journal preprints and papers when available, conference proceedings, technical reports, etc., downloaded from the web. It indexes PostScript and PDF research articles. Sighteer uses search engines, crawling, and document submissions to harvest papers. Oyster is a union catalog of millions of records representing open access digital resources that were built by harvesting from open access collections worldwide using the Open Archives Initiative Protocol for metadata harvesting. Oyster began at the University of Michigan in 2002, funded by a grant from the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation. In 2009, OCLC formed a partnership with the University of Michigan to provide continued access to open access collections aggregated in Oyster. Today, Oyster includes more than 30 million records representing digital resources from more than 1,500 contributors.
Till now, we have seen some of the national level project developed in the USA. Let us see some of the international collaborative project initiated by US. After the huge success of digital library initiatives, phase 1 and 2, National Science Foundation collaborated with international level agencies to promote digital library activities all over the world. The International Digital Library Research Project intended to develop a system that can operate in multiple languages, format, media, social and organizational context. The main objective of this project to avoid duplication of efforts from different agencies and sharing the scientific knowledge and scholarly data all over the world. Let us see some of the major international collaborative projects. International Digital Library Collaborative Research and Application Testbed by National Science Foundation in collaboration with Joint Information System Committee, that is a national level agency in UK. International Digital Library Research by National Science Foundation with the collaboration of German Research Foundation. Network of Excellence in Digital Library System. It is a collaborative project by National Science Foundation and Working Group Reference Model for Digital Libraries. National Science Foundation and European Union Digital Libraries. It is a collaborative project by National Science Foundation and European Union to promote future direction for European research program in the area of digital libraries. Dear student, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. In this module, I elaborated about various digital library initiatives taken by the US government for the benefit of academic as well as research community. The module also explained various aspects of the Digital Library Project Gutenberg and other early digital library projects such as Mercury, Chemistry Online Retrieval Experiment, Association for Computing Machinery, and etc. Also, I elaborated about Digital Library Initiatives Phase 1 and Phase 2, their outcome such as Network Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertations, National Science Digital Library System, OSTAR, NASA Technical Report Server, and etc. Student, you are requested to go through the learn more part of this module to know more about various digital library activities and the funding agencies to promote digital library movement all over the world by the US. Thank you.